Do you ever find that your relationships are a little bit like puzzles that you haven't got the missing pieces? Do you ever find that you're in not necessarily romantic relationships, but even relationships with work colleagues or friends or family members, and you end up in the same situation that you did before, that you said you'd never do again? Well, if that's you, or you know someone similar, then this video is perfect. Because in this video, I'm going to explain exactly why this happens. And it happens to me, it happens to all of us. So stay tuned. Quite often we say things like, oh, you get stuck in a rut. Now, this is very common. And the reason why we get stuck in a rut is because our subconscious mind loves habit. Regardless of whether the habits are positive or negative, the subconscious mind creates habits to make things easier for us. So if we keep doing something on repeat, then the subconscious mind will hold on to it and create that habit, create that pattern, create that program. So next time we do it, it's easier, or we just do it without even thinking. So it could be smoking, it could be being really positive, it could be brushing your teeth, it could be the way you exercise, it could be any of these things, because all of these programs are built inside our subconscious mind. So when it comes to relationships, you can have a relationship with anyone, anything. It could be a relationship with a pet, it could be a relationship with your mum, your dad, your sister, your brother, your children, could be a romantic relationship. And you tend to come into the same issues because your subconscious mind has created certain patterns that we can't get out of. Sometimes when you meet someone, you enter what we call the honeymoon period. So it's lovely, everything's great, you'll do anything for this person. And then after a while, you get used to each other. You start taking each other for granted in different ways. It just happens by accident. And then all of a sudden, how you were in your last relationship sort of overrides the way that you wanted to be in this new relationship. So say, for example, in a previous relationship, you might be on your phone all the time or pointing out negative things about the person all the time, and you think, right, got a fresh start, I'm going to be in this new relationship, I'm not going to be on my phone, I'm not going to come out with negative things, I'm not going to stay in work for longer than I should. But then after a while, subconscious mind kicks into these programs, and that's just what we're used to. It can also have a positive effect. So there might be certain things you did in your old relationship in a romantic way. It could be something that with another best friend. Now you've got another best friend that's part of the group, but the way you were with that person that was really, really positive, really attentive, really caring. Now you're like that with this new person because that's a habit as well. And these are all good. But it's when the bad habits come back. It's when you find yourself in the same situation thinking, how am I here again? And sometimes you even ask yourself, you say, is it me? Is it me? Am I the problem? And sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. But the thing to remember is your subconscious mind is so used to putting you into these situations, the same situations again and again, because they're just programs and you do it automatically. So the key to get out of this is to be mindful. Be mindful of the decisions you're making, the things you're doing, the things you're saying. Have a couple of seconds before you say something, before you do something, and think about what you're thinking about. This is a real top tip, because we think about things and we let our thoughts just take us in a path. And the best thing to do is to stop that and actually think, hang on a minute, am I actually wasting my time here? Am I daydreaming about something that I shouldn't be? Am I going down a negative path? Am I about to say something that I shouldn't say? You know, you sort of bite your lip sometimes, but the more you do that, the more you train your subconscious mind, because perhaps you're being nagging or picky or too critical, whatever it may be. So these are the problems that we have in relationships, because we have these recurring issues that come back with the recurring programs that we have in our subconscious mind, and we don't even know they're there. People use hypnotherapy to help themselves get out of these programs. People use hypnotherapy and visualization, which basically is hypnotherapy, but you can do that by yourself or with a therapist or using hypnotherapy audios. But visualization is a massive tool for changing programs. So this is what you can do to aid your relationships for the future, regardless of who it's with, is by changing the negative things, the things that lead down the path of negativity. Because sometimes one little thing that you say won't make a difference, but the more you say it, the big difference happens, and the big differences happen, I should say. And so this is what you got to be careful of. And so you have to remember, firstly, where it went wrong, and now realize a new way of doing it, and therefore visualize the new way, think about the new way, focus on the new way, concentrate on your thoughts and what you're thinking about. And therefore, when you're more mindful of everything that you're doing, you can change your old patterns and therefore create better relationships in all areas of your life. And you can do this yourself. It just takes practice. It's funny, when you first meet someone, it doesn't matter if it's a friend, if it's a work colleague, if it's your boss, if it's a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it may be, you're never going to tell them the complete truth. I mean, who does? Sometimes I suppose people do, but you're never going to say, oh, sometimes I think about this. You know, stuff that they would never know about perhaps until months or years down the line. Oh, sometimes I think about this, or sometimes I'm a little bit like this. You're not, you're like, well, no, you know, I try to be as positive as I can. You really show your best side. And sometimes people talk the talk, but when it comes to walking the walk, the subconscious mind shows the truth. And particularly how you react to things. You know, this is another thing to consider in work, with friends, in family situations. The way you react to things, because you can really control your reaction. You can't control things that are happening around you sometimes, but you can control the way you react to it. And if you react to things in a way that's negative, in a way that gets you into trouble, in a way that you don't actually like, and when you look back you think, I wish I hadn't done that, this is when you need to start looking at new ways to react. Therefore, be mindful and take time out when things happen. Take a few seconds to have a think. You know, people always say count to 10. Count to 10 very quickly, and then react in the way that you know you really should. So in the future, if you could go back to that event, how would you really react? React like that. And the more you do that, the easier it becomes, and then it becomes natural, and then you're starting to become the person that you know you need to be when it comes to relationships. Regardless of the relationship, it doesn't matter if it's romantic, if it's best friend, cousin, whatever, it makes no difference. Reacting to things is a real giveaway to who you are. So you see the way people are in restaurants is a great one. When you're in a restaurant, you see the way somebody talks to a waiter and how annoyed they get from the slightest little thing. And this is their subconscious mind, because this is how they've been. And it's not necessarily because they are a horrible person, but it certainly doesn't come across great, and you definitely don't want to be that person. So these kind of people need to take a step back, take a few seconds and think, hang on a minute, you got to really behave, but train your mind, train, and then you get used to it. I live in Spain. When I first moved to Spain 24 years ago, everything here is very slow compared to most other places. And so it gets quite frustrating, but you just accept it. You just think, you know what? It's not important. Mañana, which means tomorrow. If it's tomorrow, great. If it's next week, who cares? Take the importance out of things, and you start to get really relaxed. And then when I go home I'm from Wales in the UK, when I go back to where I'm from and I see the way people are, and they're so fast and so, not angry, but perhaps agitated with things, I think, wow, I can't be like that, because otherwise my head would explode. So this is how we have to be with people everywhere. We have to be very relaxed, take the importance out of things, and then visualize how we want to be, because this is really important. And this is a great tip, to visualize how you want to be, and then you will be like that. You build these new programs, you build these new systems in your mind. When it comes to a relationship, you don't just click back into that inner rut that you were with somebody else, or with somebody else, or with somebody else. You actually get a chance to learn from however you've been, and progress and be the best person you can be in all of your relationships. Last thing that I want to say on the matter, when it comes to relationships, it doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is, even a pet, it's communication. Communication is key. Communicate, talk. I have a very, very good friend of mine, and we were talking about this the other day, and she said, and it's the same as what I've done in the past, she's got things on her mind, wants to say something, but just thinks, do you know what, I don't want to nag, I don't want to cause a problem, I don't want to cause a situation today, I'll leave it. And that builds up and builds up and builds up until one day it all comes out. So communication is massive, whether it's a work colleague, a boss. As soon as something happens, just stop and say, hey, can I just talk about this? And get it out. 9 times out of 10, not every single time, but 9 times out of 10, they appreciate it because they'd rather you just be honest. And then you don't have that anxiety build up. It's such a great way to live your life when you just tell people how you feel, not all the time because you get yourself into trouble, but with the people that you want to be close to you, you have to. Otherwise, you end up just pushing them away. Now, the great news is you can get this kind of help just through your own visualization, just through your own thought patterns, just from your own mindfulness and thinking out of the box a little bit. And if you're interested, you can also click the link below and check out my relationship bundle. But you can do these things by yourself, I promise you. Thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Click the link, make sure you subscribe, share it with a friend, and I will see you next time.